This is Gregory Shelton with Historic Living, Modern World. Today I want to show you something that to me is one of my favorite things to eat, because as Americans, don't we all love comfort food? Isn't that what life's about? Fall's rolling in, it's already here. People are thinking about getting really rustic meals to eat. And today I've had a lot of people ask me about it, but I want to show you how I make my homemade chicken pot pie. What I take pride in is using interesting vegetables in this pot pie. So I'm looking at Brussels sprouts, turnips. You can use sweet potatoes, mushrooms, interesting root vegetables that not only come from the garden, but they have a complexity to them that make this damn thing not good, but super duper great. Okay, so I've taken the liberty of already peeling and handling all the vegetables. So today's pot pie is gonna have these beauties in them. Check how beautiful that is. So we have Brussels sprouts, already been parboiled. We have yellow Yukon Gold potatoes, celery, and then beautifully kind of cross-cut carrots, which to me, you know, I want people to know when they eat this isn't out of a bag, so we're not dicing all this stuff to look uniform. It's about rustic vegetables today, and that's what's gonna really own this pie and make it delicious. So we have one chicken breast, usually 1 to 1.5, regular standard chicken breast. We boil those, and again, you're really just gonna absorb the flavor there, but it's really, really basic. You can use a lot of different versions of this, but again, this is very simple, but this is gonna be the flavoring for the pie. Of course, you could use turkey, any type of white meat that you like, all good. Where we are now is we're really taking our onions, and we're really gonna saute them first. So we wanna use just standard butter, unsalted butter, okay? I would say about 5 tablespoons. Let that melt. Okay, so you wanna have I already diced my onions, I would say about 1/2 of an onion. Onions in. Again, I saved the garlic a little bit because we are gonna add garlic. I just don't want that to burn. So we wanna make sure we saute our onions first. And once they're headed towards translucency, then what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be adding our garlic, and then that will cook down beautifully. Okay, now you want your chopped garlic to go in. Again, making sure it's important that you don't want to burn your garlic, but our onions are halfway there and we're good to go. They always say when you're looking to cook with garlic, especially hand-chopped garlic, when you get that smell of the garlic up in your face, you know that your garlic is done. Okay, so our onions are completed. And now what we're gonna be doing is we're making a roux. Now a roux is a flavor ingredient, but it's also a thickener. So when you add flour to your butter, you're basically creating a paste. Okay, a roux looks perfect. Again, that's a thickening agent, and it's really gonna make this thing taste great, but it's gonna really create that thick chicken gravy that a chicken pot pie has to have to be good. So once this is done, which it is, we're gonna be adding about, I would say a little about 1.5 cups of chicken stock, okay, into the pan. Now I'm going to switch, I'm using a stirring spoon here, but really I'm going to be moving to a whisk. So whenever making gravies, I always move to a whisk. But again, we don't want to make a mess, so we want to keep this thing under wraps as best that we can. You can already see it thickening. Now what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of milk, about 3/4 cup of milk. And then our gravy is already ready to roll as far as the consistency that we're looking for. So I'm going to be adding the herbs and spices for this. So obviously salt and pepper, fresh ground pepper, fresh salt. But ultimately I'm using a celery seed for this. Look how beautiful that is. It's such an amazing gravy. The salty celery seed is going to be wonderful. I may add a little bit of chicken broth just to thin that out a little bit because you don't want it to be too thick. But again, that looks beautiful. Now we're going to add a little bit of parsley because I believe that the filling needs to have a little bit of a color scheme going on, not just the vegetables. Just a little bit. Okay, so this to me is where the signature side comes into your pot pie. Now, I like to dissect things and makes things artistic when you make these kinds of things. Now I know this is going to be covered with a pie crust on top, but when you have a lot of amazing ingredients like what you have, you don't have to just throw it in, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be layering this. So very simple. So I'm going to take I just want to make sure everyone gets a little bit of everything. So when you take the vegetables out, you just want to make sure you're getting a little bit of everything in there. And you might have a lot left over. That's really cool because you can make another pot pie. But again, I think this is something that makes for a very colorful experience. So you're layering in, add a little bit of chicken. Okay, more veggies. Brussels sprouts and beautiful carrots. Beautiful potatoes. Wow. I can't say how much I love this dish, man. This is what fall's about to me. Now I made enough for 2 pot pies because I want to give some to a couple friends because I think that they're going to love this too. But you can see how beautiful this is. Okay, your pie is there. So now what I want to do is take the pie crust that we made, okay, and you're going to be putting this over top of your pie. Just like that. All right, doesn't have to be perfect. Don't beat yourself up over this thing. I made this, and again, it has some issues here and there. Doesn't matter. This is meant to be tasty, not meant to be perfect. Look how beautiful that is. Okay, so we're going to be creating a little bit of design around the ends. You can do the standard pie crust thing, but really what I like to do is I like to encompass this gravy and vegetables in. So I'm going to use a standard method of just pressing to make sure the edge is a sealed experience. And again, that's going to create that bubbling effect of the gravy. And I trust you, every single vegetable in there is going to get infused with your gravy. It's going to make it better, I promise you. Like I was saying earlier, a pie crust looks great, but this needs to be golden brown, like a beautiful pastry coming out of an oven in England or a French pastry coming out. The way they do that is they use an egg and a little bit of water, or egg and a little bit of milk. This is going to give you that golden brown look you're going to be craving. So now you want to cut some spots so the air can release and it doesn't blow out the sides. You can be decorative with that too if you like. I like to keep it pretty simple. And to finish, I like to put a little bit of parsley over top. Our pot pie will go into the oven. It's going to be beautiful. Stay tuned. Okay, this is very exciting because I'm going to be creating a sauce that's going to level up this pot pie. Now, I learned this from an amazing guy. His name is Bill Yosis, and this guy was the presidential pastry chef at the White House. Okay, an amazing opportunity for him. He made the best chicken pot pie I've ever had in my life. And I have to be honest, the pot pie was great, but man, this sauce was amazing. It's an English sauce. It's what they call a parsley liqueur or parsley liquor, and it's simple, it's easy, and it's so incredibly flavorful. It's going to really kill this pot pie. Okay, this sauce is super easy, but it's so flavorful. You would add butter, unsalted butter. Okay, we're going to be sauteing a little bit of garlic in there. 3 tablespoons of butter, about 1.5 cloves of fresh garlic. So we're going to add a little bit of flour in there. It's going to create, again, we're talking about a little bit of a light roux. This really should taste like a butter sauce, honestly. Then we're going to go in with our chicken stock. That's going to be the liquid here. And then we're going to go with a healthy group of parsley. This is a parsley sauce, so remember, this has to be very much on the parsley side. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so the pot pie is out of the oven. Has a beautiful look, very rustic. You can see the golden brown crust. It's ready to take to the next level. We're gonna let it sit for a little bit to cool down. Once it cools down, all the juices will find their resting place, and the crust on the bottom is gonna be cooked perfectly. The top crust is flaky, and we'll be ready to serve and ready to taste it. Okay, we pulled it out of the oven, and the pot pie is set for 15 minutes, and it's ready to taste. And again, let's be honest, that's the most important part about this. I can say though, before I take a bite, we have a beautiful flaky crust. I can see that the vegetables were cooked correctly. They're perfect looking. The liqueur sauce looks delicious. Let's give this thing a taste. So damn exciting. I want a little bit of that Brussels sprout, a little bit of the sweetness in the carrot, and a little bit of the sauce too, and some of the chicken. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh, the filling is so delicious. The sauce adds a little bit of sexiness to the dish, and that is incredibly important when you're making food to be proud of. Let's go in for another quick bite. Wow, what's with these potatoes? Sauce is great. Wonderful. This is exactly how I wanted it to come out. Listen, this is Gregory Shelton from Historic Living Modern World, and reminding you, whenever you try to do something, make sure you work to move people. Cheers.